Peace, God. What's going on?
Hey, peace, God.
What's going on, brother?
How
Everything
you
all
doing?
right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm real good.
Yeah, man. This pollen, man, is wearing me down. I don't have all of the sniffles and stuff and the sneezing. It's just draining my energy as soon as I hit the air.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
A lot of people been affected by that. This year.
Yeah.
You Um, it's real easy to to correct. You know,
All
it
right.
ain't hard.
What's some of the good things to
Um,
take to offset those symptoms you might have from reaction to the pollen?
yeah, man. Like, okay, number one, a, a simple remedy that people been doing for many years. Is using local honey. The
Local
honey
honey.
that's in yeah, the honey that's in your area. You
Oh,
see.
okay. Yo, yeah, that's a good one. I
Yeah,
try to get it. They're making it
yeah,
harder to get those types of things now.
yeah. But see, I've been getting but see a lot of the beekeepers are not doing that now. You gotta make sure, cause see, I've been hearing people complaining and saying that that's not working for them.
Yeah, because they're
Well,
not getting the honey from
it's,
the area. They're buying it and importing it and then selling it like it's local.
that's right.
Hmm.
Because even the farmers market, people are doing that now.
Yeah, they
You
they
know,
importing the goods. They're not selling local vegetables anymore. They're selling
they
just like
not.
the grocery stores. You know.
Cause like I went to the farmers market 2 Sundays ago, and one of them they was having out of season fruit out there. You know,
Mm.
um, so even the concept of eating, you're not even supposed to eat fruit out of season. It's not gonna it's not
Hmm.
gonna hurt you, but it ain't gonna help you as much. Because it don't got the nutrients. You know,
Hmm.
not to mention the being seedless. You know, now what I use to see a lot of people have trouble sleeping
Hmm.
with with this these allergies. So um at nighttime we use this tea, and one of the main herbs is this rainforest herb called the Morris Seiko.
Hmm.
That plant is like it's like a Benadryl. You
Hmm.
see, it works amazingly well. The Morris Seiko, just like the word love, more.
Hmm.
It works amazing. You sleep so well. It takes away the symptoms. Um, just like how Benadryl would. It makes you real drowsy. A lot of people like it because it makes them sleep so well.
Right.
You see, um, blue vervain is amazing for that. For not only is it amazing for allergies, it's amazing for what they classify as the corona.
Right.
Nettle leaves, you know, nettle leaves is real simple to get. That's really good for allergies. Now, make sure you get the leaf and not the root. The root is better for the prostate,
Hmm.
you know. And that offset it. It used to be you could just get the local honey. The local honey would do it, and so people thinking the local honey doesn't work, but it works. You gotta make sure it's authentic honey,
Right.
you know. And, um, raw would be the best form of honey. That's a lot to ask for. Local honey and raw. Because even the farmers markets don't even sell. A lot of them don't even sell the raw honey.
When you say raw, what is
so
that? What does that mean when you say raw honey?
Okay, that means it hasn't been processed.
Okay, they're just getting it straight off the beehive.
Yeah, like okay, if you look at honey in the beehive, it looks like it's thick. Mm-hmm. It looks like it look more consistency like what beeswax look like.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you process it, it flows. Now we thinking that's the honey, but that's processed and it flows good. It's a process to getting honey. I've seen people extract it from the pine cone.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's also amino acid that you can use that also has the effect that it takes away the histidine.
Okay.
You see, yeah, that'll take that away. It'll take away those symptoms. The histidine and the morphic oil to help with any type of allergy, whether it's bee pollen or not.
Right.
You see, it's just gonna stop that. And when you having that, you also want to make sure that you limit other toxins in your body, because you gotta keep in mind there's a lot of toxins and a lot of poisons that float through the body.
Mm-hmm.
From the foods, the pollution in the air, and the pollen tips that scale.
Right.
Because if you go back 100 years ago, you wouldn't have people complaining about pollen like they do now.
Mm-mm.
The real issue
I didn't really have problems later on.
Well, no, they didn't have a lot of problems with pollen, because the level of toxicity wasn't as high. Mm-hmm. A lot of people talk about, the old folks ate pork but then you gotta look at something. They might have ate pork, but they ate pork. You could pinpoint when they ate back then.
Mm-hmm. But the animals are a lot healthier back then. They're not being processed through factories and stuff like that. And they were fed the foods that was natural to the environment that they were from.
That's right. So you got that part that you just said, mm-hmm. that how the meat was done, mm-hmm. which is amazing. So you got that factor. They were farm raised. Okay. Then the people only ate 3 times a day. At the most, breakfast. And really the breakfast thing is new too. But for the sake of saying it, 3 times a day, breaking the natural fast of the body, lunchtime, then dinner time. Okay? 3 times a day, no in between eating, no snacking in between, no table chips. It wasn't no snacking in between.
Right.
It was just them hearty meals. Okay? You didn't have all this air pollution. It's just so many factors that's taking place. And so now, you get, things that people didn't complain about then, they have now, because it's we make our body so toxic. It's so many things that's happening that we don't even identify. Not to mention electromagnetic smog. I mean,
Right.
just so many factors that we bombarded with, and then you have this thing to tip the scale.
Right.
Because you gotta think about something. Our animals are not affected by pollen.
Mm-mm.
This is deeper. This deeper than the aggravation of the pollen. It's an accumulation of other toxins, and then this just tipping that scale beyond what it would normally be.
Mm-hmm.
So what you experiencing is a hyperactive immune system responding to more so the other factors, and makes you hypersensitive
Mm-hmm.
to other things, because you got a real strong immune system.
Right.
So it's a good thing, But that's what's draining you.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Now, I was, that little clip I played of Bruce Lipton in the beginning talking about,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these drugs is just no better than a placebo. That
Right.
these pills that they're giving people are not really healing them. It's giving
That's
them
right.
problems actually more than it's helping them.
Mm-hmm.
Now he mentioned the drug Prozac doesn't work better than a placebo.
Mm-hmm.
And and I know that for a fact with the statin, especially the one Lipitor, that says it takes it'll take over, I forgot the number, 1,000 years before you see a benefit from it. So they studied this drug for that long. What they do it off a scientific theory, but mathematical equation. So really, you're taking something that's really not helping you; it's hurting you. And I don't know how long ago that interview took place. He said pharmaceutical drugs kill over 300,000 people a year. Now we're just talking about in this country. So how come that's not considered an issue, a medical emergency? That's a lot of people to take out.
It is.
And you're supposed to be helping them.
That's right.
They're coming for help. I know. Last time I checked was last year. Over 600,000 people die a year from medical intervention alone.
Saying that. That's what I was about to say when you were saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just
that's right.
Where the priorities is. See, the priority is on making money. That's just that simple. The priority is if we can make some money. It's not, I don't think it's the priority is on the health of the people. I mean, they do a good job of marketing it that way. But it's when I look at relatives that I've lost over the last 5 years, all of them were receiving some type of medical treatment.
That's right.
All of them, they thought the doctor can fix the problem, and they still died. Yeah, I remember there was a girl I knew years ago, and her family was prone to getting this specific type of cancer. So all of the relatives before her who they went to the doctor, they ended up dying. So she decided not to do any treatment. And she stayed alive. She's still alive, as far as I know. So that says something. Same cancer. Only thing different, she didn't get the treatment for it. I think what they did, they marketed us, hey, especially the people of color, you guys need to go get checked up more. And I think what that was is we weren't getting checked up, so that means we were living longer because the studies are showing that people with medical insurance are dying earlier than people who don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually the middle to upper class people who normally have insurance. They're being taken out, and they got insurance. And the people that, and they, they did these studies against poorer countries where they don't have an infrastructure of healthcare like that. These people live longer.
Right.
Showing you that the body will do what you need it to do. I mean,
that's right.
If you just give it the minimum amount of nutrition that it needs, it'll do what it needs to do. It's a resilient thing. But
now I'm glad you pointing that out because a lot of people don't realize that they are the number one cause of death is medical treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Pharmaceutical drugs is the number one cause of death on the earth and has been that way for since they started this mess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so awesome that I remember I used to read that, but I said that can't be true. The way they sell it, I used to say it's a contributing factor to people dying. But then when you look up the stats, like it is the number one cause of death.
Mm-hmm.
Bar none.
Well,
it's like
the official stats say it's the number 3 cause, but I would say it's more because that's the ones they take claim of. They claim
that's
that,
right.
So
they try to use words to confuse people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the number one cause of death. The way they classified, to reduce it to a number 3, they don't look at the contributing factors of it. You got even a 10% death rate just for being in the hospital, which is higher than COVID. They classify it as nosocomial infections.
Mm-hmm. You're getting infections for being around. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's their fault again, but they don't take credit for it. And it ain't the fact that it need to be cold, and they try to make it like this, a infection that occurs. It's a lot of factors. Just like I was saying, I don't want to keep, but I want to make sure that I make, a good point. Like when I was saying about the difference in the diets over the years that causes the allergies. And see, a lot of times, I don't think it's fair to blame it on the pollen.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we blaming nature, and it ain't nature fighting us. You don't see no animals complaining about pollen.
Yeah.
So when I was saying the diet, what I want to get across is, okay, when you have an allergic reaction, they're going to give you histamine, antihistamine. What's not being looked at is there are foods that are high in histamine, which causes allergic reaction. And that's the thing that's the most overlooked part. They'll blame everything. They'll blame the creator for calling these allergies and say it's pollen season.
Mm-hmm.
That's natural. That's, we're not looking at the processed meats, the smoked meats, the cheese, alcohol, wheat, chocolate, you see, food dyes and additives. These things cause overproduction of histamine, which they blaming it. It seems like the pollen tips it. You see what I'm saying? But see, it was already. What I'm trying to get across is tipping the scale.
Yeah, it's just a contributing factor, but it's not the overall cause of the problem.
It's not. If you eliminate those foods because you didn't see this back then, because they would call it the King's disease. They call everything the King's disease from overconsumption. The Kings had all these. They always suffered. The so-called aristocracy and the rich always suffered these common diseases that we have now. And this is just another example with from the histamine rich foods. So you want to pinpoint certain foods to eliminate, and it's going to be difficult because wheat is in everything. You got
sugar, everything.
I don't even know why.
High fructose corn syrup, sugar, soy. That's another thing. I know that bothers me.
That's
soy.
And see, soy is high in histamine. Cheap. You know what I'm saying? Even fermented foods. So you have to watch certain wines. Now you can drink wine, but then you got to monitor other. You got to basically have a histamine, a low histamine diet.
But how do you know what has histamines in it? What do you?
Yeah, I just named them.
Okay.
Alcohol, fermented foods.
Fermented
chocolate,
foods, bread,
chocolate, food dyes, additives.
A lot of people eating chocolate.
Wheat. Wheat do because
you wheat. That's in everything.
Yeah, and see, wheat is one of the worst ones. So much that people have gluten-free diet because it tremendously causes gluten sensitivity. They're not saying what it is. They call it gluten sensitivity. But that's what it is. So that's I want to make sure because I think that was a extremely good question to help your listeners. Because this is something that I'm hearing and seeing every day, and the thing that's not working anymore. It still works, but it's not working like it used to work with the local honey, And so you remember the herbs that I was mentioning, the blue vervain, the nettle leaves, the
simple detox.
These help the symptoms. That not only does the burner bar, I like this plant because not only does it alleviate the allergy symptoms, I like it for the fact that it also is another complaint that I see a lot of people have is migraines.
I used to get those from
and see soy. They are cousins to each other. You see, they cousins. But see, the migraines can be triggered through through stress.
Okay.
You see, but the burner bar will eliminate that. You see, the periwinkle and Lissy Thistle will help with the migraines as well, and not to mention, which will help for both of them, for the migraines as well as the allergies. Is one plant I love so much is the it don't get the props it's supposed to get. It gets so overlooked. It's the elderflower. I love that plant.
Elderflower.
You know. Yes. I mean, it oxygenates the bloodstream, and it even cleans on a cellular level, but it will help with allergies, you know. That is the amazing plant. I made sure that, you know, we grow a lot of the elderflower and elderberry. I made sure a large percentage does not be used, turn into a berry, but remains a flower. Because it's also health benefits, you know. But we talked about that plant before, though. Yeah.
So you grow your own mixtures of herbs.
Not all of them, but we grow a lot of plants. I believe in growing things in its proper season. Now, you know, we talked about this before. I want to get too much into the elder plant, but in the month or so, you're gonna see the flowers all over the street, and people just drive by. Let be everywhere, and I laugh so hard to see the elderberry. I had gave out last year. You couldn't. I had ran out of elderberry. You couldn't find none nowhere online, and I just laughed. Me and my people just went down the street and just went all over town, and just we never ran out because we knew where to go. And you didn't even got to go nowhere. I be seeing it everywhere. I be seeing plants everywhere. I be driving and when I'm going, and I whenever I ride in the country, I have to, it's almost need a driver, because as I'm riding in the country, my eyes are looking at the trees and in the street, and you will find this acres and acres of so many herbs. And I do a lot of herbal trapping. Well, I go and just wildcraft. I like wildcrafting better than anything. That organic trash, who cares about organic? Wildcrafting is the greatest.
What's the difference?
Because it's just where it grows. You see wildcrafted dandelion in your yard every day.
Yeah, they just grown on their own without fertilizer and stuff like that. Right, okay, I got you.
Yeah, that's what makes it the best, because you're not manipulating the ground. You're not. It's naturally. See, plants don't grow. Plants are nutrient dense, nutrient rich. Different soils and different locations going to be. Even if you go through town, the soil pH and conditions and nutrient level will be different throughout. It'll be different in the entire neighborhood. And if you got enough land, you'll see a different consistency in nutrient density within an acre of land. You look in your yard, you'll see plants growing in the front of your house that won't grow in the back of your house.
Yeah, that's true. In the front where you doing all that cut, trying to make it look nice. Yeah, that's true.
It's a nutrient density. And so when you can let it go on its own merit, you really get something. You know, we mess with like even what I have to do, I have to alter where I grow herbs at.
Mm-hmm.
Because you deplete the soil.
Right.
You have to alternate it, because you gotta keep in mind, when you're doing large things and then you manipulating it to grow it, like gardeners do, you're doing something. But if you just let it grow and just, you ain't gonna have that trouble, because that's what it's gonna do. And it might not produce as much, when you let it grow in wildcraft, because you're trying to produce. You're working on production, so you manipulate the soil. You'll add nutrients to the soil.
Mm-hmm.
You'll burn grass. You'll do things to make it more nutrient in the pH better.
Right.
Which gonna give you a better yield, but you're still doing something.
So
you see a lot of allergies with from chemical allergies, from a lot of beauticians, from breathing in the fumes and doing hair. That causes a lot of issues. There's so many things that's happening. Is that it's kind of hard to keep up with everything. We always bombard. I mean, we got so much radiation that affects us that
just our cell phones alone.
Yeah.
Cell phones got radiation in it. A lot of people don't realize that some of your health issues come from that phone, especially if you're holding it to your head all the time. I try to keep mine on speaker. I don't even like putting the headphones, the little ear things in my ears. Yeah. Radiation is all around us, and it's at a higher level because now we've got these screens, the phones, and now they got that Wi-Fi, 5G Wi-Fi in your home. That's a higher level of radiation, and they just added more and more every year. So we are being negatively affected by radiation all day, every day.
All day, every day. Yeah. And see what you witnessing, like when you study history from a health standpoint. I've always looked at history from looking at the health and that's just been my angle. What you're gonna find is you only see any type of sickness, disorder, imbalance. What you're gonna find is that you're going to find it in the so-called
modern society,
civilized civilization. Yeah. From the Egyptians to whoever was running the game. And the people that were the poor and all this, they were the healthiest. You didn't see kings that lived long lives. Like that woman in England. And they got her husband being a prince, and he met a prince married to a so-called queen. They
how's that? How does he be a prince and she?
Yeah, but see, that's the game that we play on society. Cause see, the game is they try to make it like it's a patriarchal society and all this mess, but it's really
a matriarchal.
It's really a matriarchal.
Yeah.
In reverse, it's
right.
It's a game.
Yeah, it's a matriarchal because you can't tell a woman she fat without she getting upset. You can't say certain things to a woman. You can't say anything about a woman without them having her outraged, but they could call you a scrub and all these other things, but you can't do this. You can't do it.
Exactly. And our sisters need to work on that because it's actually a health issue. And but see, like to marry up. So by her having the so-called bloodline,
Mm-hmm.
and he married her. Now, if she married him and he had this so-called bloodline, she would be automatically a queen.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's a scrub,
He's a
you know what I'm
prince.
saying?
I didn't get that. I
Yeah,
see a queen and a prince. It don't even make sense. Like
yeah. Now
that,
you went,
somebody explained it to me because it is. I said that still don't make sense. It don't make sense.
because they're not telling you what that this is a game.
Right.
You know what it is. You just hear them. You just want to hear them say it, but
Right.
it's a game. And the sisters always, women always marry up, and she got
And she
somebody
become the
that didn't
queen,
have.
right?
So
Yeah, because if
right.
Princess Diane would have, if her husband would have became king, she would have been a queen.
That's
So
right.
right,
And you know she
so
didn't
she
come
came
from
from a common family, as they would put it.
yeah.
She was a commoner. So
And
yeah.
they trying to do that. They're trying to do that science that I love magic.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thing, spiritual magic. And I used to watch the Merlin series.
Mm-hmm.
I like reading that. Not, but I like seeing it.
Right.
And if you notice that Guinevere is black and she's a
Mm-hmm.
servant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that the Henry, is it Harry, whatever his name is,
Yeah, I
he
forgot.
married
He married a
he
black girl.
married Megan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the and if you follow the mythology, um but see it ain't gonna happen with him. But he becomes king and changes the way things is done by him when he married a commoner who happened to be black. It's real deep. But unfortunately, it ain't gonna go like that unless, I guess, it'd be funny if his brother died or something, and then
Well, she's
Harry somehow
95.
become
She
king.
95.
Huh?
The queen is 95.
No, I'm talking about like something happens where, like Charles be the so-called king, and then his son next, but then that son died, and that leaves the one that's married to Megan.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd be like the the mythology. It'd be crazy.
Yeah. Right. They did
And
that.
then
All of that's
like,
by design. All the marriages, it's not that didn't come along through just happenstance. That's all by design. And I'm starting to realize our whole history. Well, I knew for the most part it's fabricated. How you just walk around and you see buildings. You're like, man, that building looks unique to all of these other buildings. And then I just started studying architecture around the world, and they all have that Egyptian look to them. I mean, all over the world, Brazil, Italy, New York. You look at the Supreme Court building in New York. You ever seen it?
Nah.
It's massive. I mean, dude, it looks just like something out of Egypt or something like that. And this one center, and then you look at Vatican City. They all look the same. So all these buildings have the same architectural design all over the world, no matter where you go. So that means it was ruled by one group of people who was in line or in the same concept of thinking. And then it seemed like they all just disappeared and left these buildings behind. What happened? And when you look at the buildings, they don't look like they were built for people of our size. They were built for people that were tall, really, like almost giants.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these buildings wasn't built for us. We're just right now occupying them. And, you can see where they made modifications to the steps for smaller people to walk on.
Right. That what you talking about is so deep. And I've studied that a little bit with the mud floods and all of
Yeah.
that. It just seems it's so deep. It don't even seem real.
It don't. And they had these world fairs that they built. They said they built these world fairs in a year with such detail. I'm like, that's a lie. That's right. You can't tell me you built all of this in a year. And when you look at Vatican City and you look at the world fairs and how they were designed, they almost look like the same thing with a few differences. Right. I mean, it's just these buildings are like massively huge. And when you look at the pictures of the World Fair, you know, when you see a fair, you see people selling food and you're like as if they were celebrating. But in the pictures, it looked like they were at a conference or something, like they were being prepped for something, you know.
And now that you mentioned, you know, because like what got me into it, one of my homeboys sent me some stuff on it. Because I used to always wonder why the damn doors were so big.
Shit. Like, and they had smaller doors cut into these bigger doors. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you need a door that's damn near 20 feet high? It looked good, but why? That shit too heavy to open. You know.
Well, first of all, who's setting that door? You ever try to set a regular door? You know, who's putting that door in the frame? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just a regular door for two people can be tough, you know, just trying to get it set, right? So you're talking about a massive metal or some type of steel, whatever it is, heavy door, brass being set 20 feet high. Right. Oh man. You know, it kind of
it's crazy.
Work that is. Yeah.
I mean, now I'm gonna ask you something. This like completely off the subject, but I want to ask you this because of the time running down. And I don't care, but it ain't, you know, I ain't acting like these niggas praying and thanking Jesus like when Biden became elected.
Yeah, well,
I didn't really pay this no attention until I just wanted to hear what the verdict was gonna be.
Right.
You know, what you think they gonna do to that boy?
He's just gonna go to jail. They ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna kill him. I think the charges that he got convicted of don't. The sentencing is not death. I think it's just life in prison or something, or some type of time in jail. You know, I haven't really been looking at that case and following it because it's a bunch of bullshit.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, you know, I really feel like it's a show. It looks like theatrics to me.
Yeah.
You know, because right after that, they shot and killed the young girl in Ohio, 16 years old.
What?
Yeah. Right. I mean, within an hour or so, same day. Yeah. So
now what to Biden not all the black people not getting shot and killed? I've seen more black people than got killed this year.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing it was when Obama was in office. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't get people to that.
I know another thing is I'm paying more at that gas pump. I know one thing since she came in office.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
damn,
it's all bullshit.
So that's what I was like, dang, you know, because
for everyone we get of them, we ain't even get them. We ain't get him, right? He got convicted. Guess what? 10 more gonna get off. When you look at the scale is still not balanced. So
I think they took too long to come up with the thing for me. That should have been the whole world convicted them. And they know people gonna act crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
this was one of those things of, you know what, we gotta get this conviction. We gotta give it. You know, this is at this point, I don't know what's real and what's not on TV anymore. Because this year alone, there's been so many shootings everywhere, mass shootings everywhere in the last couple of months. Like as if these things are being, orchestrated to do something, I'm like,
right.
What is going on? Like it's so I try to not watch the news, try to stay away from it because it's there to strike some type of fear or anger in you. It's not there to keep you positive. I can tell you that much. It's either fear or anger.
And then our people so sleep. It is this sleepwalking. And if last year, if anything happened, Trump was held to it. Mm-hmm. He didn't say enough. He didn't do enough.
Right.
They ain't saying about Biden.
Right.
The Asian one Asian shootout happened. Biden immediately passed something. Immediately.
Mm-hmm. We done had a bunch. We done had a bunch of. What they trying to pass is they want to curtail the gun ownership. That's what they really. He did something to that effect. They're trying to keep guns down, and I think when they talk about gun control, it's really about keeping them out of our hands. Keep them from us. If there's a people that deserve some type of retribution, it would be us.
That's right.
Because we never get, we get something and then 10 more incidences, it goes the other way. So it's like, hey, so are people sleep? Yes, definitely. And it's sorry, and I don't care who like it or not. Our queens is right at the forefront of being asleep. They're supporting the very people with their money, the very people that don't like them,
right.
That won't put them on TV, that won't give them up. They're supporting them very people that hate them willingly. These nail shops, they're giving their money to them. They're buying the hair and all that. They're giving their money to them.
And the only reason why we still in the game, the only reason why the black man's still in the game with our women is because of our sex game.
Ain't that terrible?
I'm just being because if we didn't have that magic dick,
you could have a point to that. Now, when I look at it, I'm just being real. Like when you look at it, and I know you got to go. When you look at your desirability as a black man, and you're right. The desire for us is okay. What can we pay for? Because all the women want the guys who make the most money, right?
Right.
But unfortunately, in our demographics, it's not many of us. Not many of us that make, 6 figures or more. So we're a minority when it comes to that.
That's right.
So all of the women want that small minority of men, and if the guy don't make enough, the first thing out of their mouth is, "Well, I'll work with him to get him up there." They're not satisfied that he's a plumber or he's just a one of those jobs that
60
that
seconds.
people don't. You don't. What do they call them? Blue collar.
And really, they make the most money a lot of times.
Yeah, like plumbers make good money. Air conditioning guys make good money, but it's not prestigious. It doesn't have that wow factor. You understand?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make them look good with a guy like that. See, it's all about self-preservation, or not even self-preservation and how I look. And I'm like, it's not, longevity and, is this guy got integrity or things like that? Because we've all been through it. You and I, we tried to do the right thing or did the right thing, and that didn't mean a damn thing. You know,
Right.
right. See, they don't want to know this or accept this. I know plenty of ladies out there that got babies, and the guy don't know that it's not his.
Mm.
Plenty. So,
Mhm.
and they got this guy running who's being a good guy, who's taking care of a child he doesn't even know it's not his.
Wow. This,
And that's not
and
one-offs. That's a lot. A lot.
that's right.
And I've heard women bragging about it. You know, being a barber, you come across all of these things. I've seen where women come in there and bring their husband to get a haircut by the very man they sleeping with.
That's right.
So we gotta dispel this notion that it's just the man out here doing these things.
No.
This is why they got DNA tests at the courthouse when you're looking for child support.
Right.
That's why it's there, because it's likely that that's happening. You know,
That's
we
right.
you know we just get the blame for all the bullshit. You know, everything.
And
we all the negative stuff we get put on our shoulder.
right. Be a man. That's what me and
Yeah, you can't be upset how circumstances. You got to be a man. Chalk it up. Okay, all right, we do that. But anyway, I got your website up there. I know you got to go. Solomon'sHealingTemple.com. You want to give them the other credentials?
Yeah. So we in Columbia, South Carolina, 7201 Park Lane Road. Our phone number is 803-661-8945. Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta keep, and that's just the bottom line. We all gotta have that.
Yes, sir.
And we'd be glad to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
So peace, guys.
All right, peace, everybody. Y'all have a good and safe day.
Yeah. All right, peace.
Peace.